I have talked about XRP quite a bit on this channel, but what if I told you that Axelar is going to be making XRP extremely bullish going forward? And I do think every single XRP holder out there should hold at least a little bit of Axel. I've stated this over the last few months. I've actually stated it even going back to 2024 as well. And today, I think that this is a lot more important to focus on than ever before. And we have to talk about this. So number one, let's actually address the difference here in just market cap alone. Today's market cap of XRP is trading at about roughly $132 billion, while Axelar's is about $409 million. That's a huge difference. Now, obviously, Axelar, when we look back at the time frame here, it's a newer project going back to like about 2022. It was around a little bit earlier than this date, which is around like October of 2022. But recently it started to make a lot of noise, specifically back in 2024. Today, we're trading at about roughly 40 some cents. Recently it did hit a low of around 27.5 cents. In the Discord, I was mentioning that we will be getting a breakout very soon. And then we did pop a bit. We actually went up to about 62 cents. It was a huge high. I think that the total change during this time was like it was like over 100% or so in a very short amount of time. And when we think about that, right, these projects that nobody is actually paying attention to, some of them could move very, very fast. And Axelar did move pretty quick. Now, this one does have a few token unlocks out there already, and we can actually see that there's going to be quite a bit going into 2026. Definitely focus on this because, sometimes you can time buys just by some of these unlocks. We do have one upcoming on June 26th and then July 26th. Almost every single month on the 26th, we will see this up until about roughly August of 2026. But outside of that, right, the main thing that I'm actually focused on, right, and I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of the supply dynamics. The main thing that I'm actually focused on is what Axelar is going to be doing for this entire space, including XRP. Now, for those that are wondering where can I buy Axel at, well, here you guys have it. You have Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, Upbit, Mexi, Gate.io, HTX, Qcoin, Crypto.com, and a few other ones as well. And actually, just recently, they did get listed again on Upbit as well. This is their Korean pair. So, love to see it. Great news. Now, let's actually talk a little bit about a few things happening behind Axelar. Number one, Cobalt. So this actually did get updated back in February. This was a huge upgrade for the entire ecosystem. It expanded utility, changed tokenomics, and it was just an overall great upgrade. I did talk about it back in February as well. I made a video regarding this, which, again, when we think about Axelar and the team behind it, they just continue to make a lot of noise and continue to build and expand. Now, the actual updates here was, Cobalt upgrade is live, sending Axel transaction fees to a burn address, strengthening tokenomics. Instead of incentivized inflation, newly connected blockchains contribute Axel into a reward pool used to compensate verifiers that secure each new blockchain connection. With this upgrade, Axelar supports unlimited blockchain connections. Upcoming integrations include, of course, Monad, Solana, Stellar, Ton, and also XRP Ledger. Now, this was the big update back in February. Today, the ecosystem is also continuing to expand. They do have a ton of apps. I'll actually open that up real quick, and also some chains. And we can look at some of the featured integrations in terms of some of the big players like JP Morgan's Onyx, which did get rebranded. I think it's Connexus or Connexus. Uniswap uses Axelar as well. And then we also have Microsoft, MetaMask, Uniswap. We already did talk about, Uniswap up here. Outside of that, the ecosystem itself is very substantial. It's filled with some great names. You can click here and load more all day long because there are so many integrations with Axelar. And then also in terms of the chains, we could see all of the chains. There's over 60 plus chains tied into it, and more are getting at it all the time. I think that they might actually be up to about 86 chains integrated with the ecosystem completely. And then also over here, we do have a spotlight put on Axelar from Deutsche Bank, We have get a sneak peek at how Deutsche Bank is thinking about tokenized assets. More details on Project Gamma 2 coming very soon. And this is actually quoting a post from back in April talking about this tokenization of financial markets report. And this is actually from Baker McKenzie and Deutsche Bank. Axelar was highlighted as a battle-tested solution for, the overall market structure. It's essentially talking about interoperability. Here we have first, technical interoperability is required, and there are already battle-tested solutions like Axelar Network, initially developed by Interop Labs and its peers. Because again, in a tokenized world, we need these markets to be able to interact with one another, especially if we're going to see tokenized things of value, on the XRP Ledger, for example, Hedera, Solana, this, that, whatever. All of these networks need to be able to operate, between one another. So, having something like Axelar, creating this network of networks between these blockchain, companies is so crucial. Now, you might be thinking, well, Nick, what about Quant? Yes, Quant's also still a big player in terms of interoperability, but what mainly I'm focused on with Quant is how it connects networks like Axelar's to traditional networks as well, because Axelar is basically a network of networks between blockchain companies. Quant is connecting these types of networks to the network of networks in the traditional world. And I know that kind of sounds a little bit confusing, but the best way that I can describe it is Quant's taking what Axelar is doing and force feeding it into the traditional world as well. Now, on top of that, let's go over here. So we have catch up on some recent milestones and look ahead. XRP Ledger Integration this summer, Stellar and Solana soon to follow, Deutsche Bank Gamma 2 components coming online, and then global liquidity layer with Sui Network. Like I said, they are keeping busy. Here is the monster month that they had in May for the Axelar ecosystem. $4 billion plus in swaps via Squid Router. XRP and Bitcoin liquidity unlocked. Sui Network joined the multi-chain. Interop Labs submitted formal comment to the SEC. We have the announcement of $4 billion with, of course, Squid Router. Here we have the why Interop Labs submits a formal comment to the RFI by US SEC Gov. This is mainly around, stablecoin regulation, and the real big issue around stablecoin regulation is just decentralization. So that's exactly what they were supporting, was just decentralization of stablecoins and stablecoin regulation. Then they also welcomed Memento to the ecosystem, built for TradFi grade compliance, now integrated with Axelar. Multi-chain taxes just got easier. Crypto Tax HQ now supports Axelar. XRP Ledger's DeFi dawn is here. Strobe Finance is unlocking XRP liquidity, and Axelar is setting up the cross-chain infra behind it. Billions in idle capital soon moving. Squid ecosystem roundup, Squid Router, and 14 new projects are going cross-chain this month. Dapps, wallets, aggregators, all scaling across EVM, Cosmos, and Bitcoin. Future of Payments report dropped in collaboration with Stellar Org and Stablecoin Standard. Axelar co-authored a report on seamless blockchain-based retail payments, and interoperability will power what's next. USDFC stablecoin is coming. Filecoin stablecoin integrates Axelar for cross-chain swaps. Sui goes multi-chain, of course, with, Axelar. Then we have sick of bridging nightmares. Warden Protocol plus Axelar equals true omnichain UX. No more manual bridging, just secure cross-chain or cross-network execution. May brought in 4 billion plus volume, new chain integrations, XRP Ledger and Filecoin liquidity, and smarter infrastructure for users and institutions. Axelar is scaling to 1 million chains. See you in June. Now, let's talk about why XRP holders need to tap into Axelar. Back in this is just 3 days ago, right? Back in roughly like the middle of this year, and even back in 2024, I said that Axelar is going to become a crucial piece of the XRP ledger. I said here that I've always stated that Axelar is a project to watch in 2025, and so far, they have been absolutely killing it. What Axelar is doing for the XRP ledger and XRP is extremely bullish. We are watching the multi-chain revolution happen in real time. Now, this is the video from, of course, this is XRP Apex 2025. With the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain on the horizon, secure cross-chain infrastructure is more important than ever. This is a breakdown of what it takes to build secure, scalable cross-chain connections for the next era of adoption. Check it out.
Today, if you want to be a successful application, you shouldn't be just thinking on certain walled garden or a specific chain. The ability to pull in liquidity from all the different ecosystems will be key here. I think we are building those lanes and also the highways to do so with regards to supporting across, like mentioned earlier, we right now support more than 55 chains. The actual number is closer to 80 and it's across different virtual machines. So essentially, we are building a lot of the developer tooling to enable them to kind of easily onboard without, fragmenting the user experience and also liquidity.
And that's what Axelar is doing with, of course, the XRP Ledger. Even going back to February of 2024, we have Ripple and Axelar Foundation partnered to enhance XRP Ledger's interoperability across blockchains. This was a big deal, especially as DeFi is starting to become a reality on the XRP Ledger. We start to see tokenization becoming a reality as well. This is going to obviously, boost liquidity. It's going to boost volume and value moving onto the chain. That interoperability connectivity is crucial for cross-chain connections, especially with the EVM sidechain. This is just definitely a huge integration. And I still think that today we need to focus on it. And to really kind of assess how big this is, big shout out to Hess, 0x Hess over on X. We have so far Axelar's GMP has processed 4.57 billion in volume and across 2.8 million transactions across 79 chains. Next up, XRP Ledger, bringing true cross-chain utility to the XRP Ledger tokens and positioning Axelar as the future-proof interoperability layer for next-gen chains. Let's dive in. And here are those stats, by the way. So they have 79 chains, and this is GMP. So this is a big piece of Axelar. This is a secure messaging layer that lets smart contracts on one chain trigger actions on another. It's like sending instructions, not just tokens. For example, calling an Ethereum contract directly from the XRP Ledger, simple, powerful, and trust minimized. And here we could actually see that. What is the XRP Ledger? Well, we already know what it is. What can Axelar do with the XRP Ledger? Well, it connects the XRP L to over 79 chains. This is allowing XRP and other tokens to move across networks. It lets smart contracts on the XRP L and other chains trigger actions on each other, unlocking new use cases for DeFi developers and tokenized assets. So why does the XRP Ledger matter? Well, it's one of the fastest, most efficient networks for real-world payments with low fees and near instant finality. It powers tokenized assets, CBDCs, and is trusted by major TradFi institutions. Until now, the XRP Ledger was largely isolated. Axelar changes that by connecting the XRP Ledger to the broader Web3 world. For the first time, smart contracts on other chains will be able to interact with the XRP Ledger apps and assets. That unlocks entirely new use cases. With GMP, Axelar lets XRP-L interact with smart contracts on 79 plus chains, enabling true cross-chain logic. With ITS, XRP, and XRP-L based assets can move seamlessly across ecosystems without custom bridges. That is full interoperability made simple. The XRP-L is just one more step in Axelar's broader vision, a unified network where chains speak the same language no matter the VM, architecture, or use case. EVM, Cosmos, Move, XRP-L, and more coming soon. Currently, the top routes by total GMP volume are, and of course they do outline that. And this is going to be very exciting, especially once it does come online. I do think that this is going to unlock so much power behind the XRP Ledger. And by the way, even over here, we do have that Axelar, the network, will function as the exclusive bridge for transferring assets, including the XRP required to create wrapped XRP between the XRP Ledger mainnet and the new EVM sidechain. Why, yes, that is true. And this is going to be huge, not just for the XRP Ledger and XRP. You got to think about it like this. All right, if this EVM sidechain, which I do believe it is going to be, if it's extremely, successful, this is going to require and ultimately demand a lot of, use from the actual Axelar network. This is also going to impact Axel in a big way. And this means that with the success of the EVM sidechain on the XRP Ledger, which we think about ROUSD, right? It's on Ethereum. Those are going to be bridged. There's going to be a lot of volume and value moving over this EVM sidechain. Axelar is going to see a massive network effect. This is why I do think that the sub $500 million market cap, it's not even a $500 million fully diluted value either. That is so undervalued. For what Axelar is doing here, I do think that this is going to be one of the biggest opportunities in this space going forward, especially with how, big DeFi will be, tokenization, you name it, especially with tokenization. You got to think about it, right? Tokenized things of value, moving over all these different networks, being able to connect to, one another. That's a big game changer for the tokenization space as well, because that unlocks so many different use cases alone. This is very exciting. I think everyone should pay attention to this. I think everyone needs to pay attention to it. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.